Welcome to the Exposed Strength Podcast with Jared Binney. In this episode, we're just going to recap the last episode, training effort, and what it is, and how I still really don't care about your feelings. And we're going to go over some of the test results that we've gotten from this past week of testing. So, anyway, here we go with another episode of the Exposed Strength Podcast. This week's test week at the gym, and a lot of kids. Yesterday was a squat day, and so on squat day, so Monday we bench, Tuesday we squat, and the fourth week of the month is almost like a deload week. So we spend the whole month grinding and pushing and trying to get our body to change. And when you're trying to force your body to change, it don't want to change. Your body is very lazy. It wants to maintain homeostasis. It does not like change. So sometimes you have to force change when your body does not want to change. And training effort. I had a girl yesterday. Jared, I'm not beating my numbers. I said, that's because you don't have any intensity. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I said, just like when you first signed up here, I said, I'm not going to BS you, and I don't know any way to tell you but to tell you the truth. And so I said, you have to make a number happen. If you want to beat a number, you don't jump and land and say, what's that number? No, if you want a number, you got to grit down inside of you and you got to go get it. You can't just, what'd I get? No, make it happen. Look, when these kids are running their 40, I feel like sometimes, I know that they are just running down the 40-yard lane and what'd I get, Jared? No. And the older high school guys, college guys, they're on a number. Hey, Jared, I'm going to run a 5.8 this time. I had a kid yesterday do that. Hey, I'm going to run a 4.9. This one's going to be this. They have a number implanted in their head, and they're going to go chase that number. If you don't plant a number in your head, you may not get that number. Just don't hope and wish that that number is going to happen. Had another kid jump a 40-inch vertical yesterday. Number 32 guy to jump the 40-inch vertical. When these guys are jumping 40 inches, they have that number 40 in their head, and they're going for it. They're going all out to get it. Just like if you're trying to throw a baseball. If you want to throw 90, go throw 90. Go get it. Make the numbers happen. Your body does not want it to do it, so force it. You got to separate mind from body and tell your body, no, this is what we're going to do. And so, being deload week, test week, had a kid come in yesterday. He's been coming to the gym for a while. Goes in, immediately starts setting up for squat. I said, no, we have to test. The 40-yard dash lane was set up. Everything was ready to roll. But Jared, I don't feel good. I don't feel it's going to be good. I had to do something. And anyway, he was trying to come up with all these excuses. I said, perfect. You don't feel like testing. And said, and I talk about this on the podcast all the time. You don't feel like testing? Let's see what happens to your number. Usually when they say they don't feel like it, they have a good positive result. And so let's see if I brought some folders home with me so I could talk about this. Didn't feel like testing. Wasn't really wanting to do it. Was setting up for squat. Had no interest in testing. So he comes in. Hey, look, perfect. You'll be the example. I talk about this all the time. And so guess what? He broke his 40-yard dash record. First time he's ever ran at the gym, he ran a 5.90. You're talking about super turtle slow. Well, then he ran a 5.5, a 5.4, and last month he ran a 5.44 and a 5.46. He squatted 225 at a 0.6 with a body weight of 160. His squat ratio was a 1.4 times his body weight, and he ran a 5.31 and a 5.33. So although he did not feel like testing, he still broke his numbers. Most of the time, if you've heard me talk about it on the podcast, I want to go knock off a tenth of a second per month. This kid's not in sport or anything like that, but he didn't feel like testing, didn't want to do it. I've got this kid over here. I've got two of them. They're coming during the season. They play football. They go to football practice. They come to the gym. They train, and they try to push their numbers. Well, this kid ran a 6.5, a 6.3, a 5.99, and yesterday he said, Jared, we had a hard practice. I don't know about this. Well, he ran a 5.99 and a 6.01 at the end of last month. And if you can improve your 40-yard dash during the season, that says something to you. That says something to me is that You're not slacking off in the gym. Although you're tired, you come in and you create an atmosphere and you make stuff happen. You make these squat speeds happen on the tendo unit when you don't feel like it. You know, feelings get in the way of results all the freaking time. And so they keep coming in after practice. Hey, I'll be back. This one kid came in after he had a game. Mom picked him up from the game and he goes, we have enough time to get there. Geez. And I stopped the whole gym. Hey, look, this guy's coming after practice. This guy came after a game. What average person does that? You know what average people do? Average people give you average results. These people right here that are coming in after football practice and after games, they're not giving me average results. They're giving me great results. 6'5", 6'3", 5'9". The kid yesterday after practice ran a 5'8", getting better during season. A lineman, so don't worry about the 5'8", but he's a hell of a lot better than he was at a 6'5". So all I care about is consistent improvement. This kid right here, after practice yesterday, tiring practice, he actually looked like he'd been ran over by a train. I said, damn, what's wrong with you? Well, Jared, that practice was rough today. I said, we're gonna test. He said, okay. And so in May, June, July, August, and September, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. He started off at a 5.5, 5.55, 5.57. The next month he ran a 5.4. The next month he ran a 5.3, 6. The next month, last month he ran a 5.26 and a 5.29. Yesterday, after practice, he ran a 5.18. So a 5.5, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, 5.1. Coming after practice, pushing numbers. You know, once you get there, it's kind of like sometimes you don't want to go, but once you get there, you're glad you did it. So these kids have done an excellent job of taking their numbers and pushing them like they're supposed to be. And usually this is not typical for people to continue to improve their 40-yard dash during the season. Usually it just levels out, so we don't have to spend December, January, February getting it back to where it was at. Sometimes, most of the time, people, if they don't come during football season, they'll lose 0.2 of a second in general. And I know a lot of this because every month these athletes are tested, just like this, 5.5, 5.4, 5.3, and on down. I brought some other folders home. This kid did not listen. And for these people that had football practice, their legs are tired and they're not average. So this kid over here, he squatted the day before. He squatted on Monday. I told him not to. He comes every day. So Monday's a bench day. Lets our legs prep, get ready for Tuesday. Wednesday's a bench day. Then Thursday, if we don't test good on Tuesday, we can retest Thursday. Well, this kid, first month he was there, he ran a 6.30 and a 6.42. So pretty slow. The next month, he ran a 5.98 and a 5.99. Yesterday, after he squatted the day before, he ran a 6.15. So we went from a 5.9, we went from a 6.3, 5.9, 6.1, and I try to tell him, don't do that. You know, like if I was training somebody to get ready for the NFL Combine, we won't do anything on our legs 2 days prior to testing. And if for you people out there that test your athletes, over time, you'll figure out and find out what a pattern is for them. So like if you have a girl that has soccer practice, they come in the next day, their 40-yard dash may be worse. I had a kid one time, he was practicing his 40-yard dash. He was supposed to run a 4.9, 4.8, and he came in running a 5 something. I said, what the hell did you do? Well, I spent yesterday in my yard working on my 40-yard dash. I said, you can't do that. Something about running the day before or practicing your 40-yard dash or having like a soccer game. Now, I can't explain these two football, how the hell did they do it? The only thing I can think of is they wanted to do it no matter what. But that's very rare. I've not seen something like that happen almost in all these years of testing people during season. Usually it don't change. Usually we're just fighting for it not to change. And so I see these people practicing their 10-yard dashes inside the hotel before the NFL Combine. They're practicing maybe the day before. If you practice in running, being it's so sensitive and so neurologically sensitive, if you do that stuff the day before, you can slightly fatigue, especially if you need a 4.4, 4.5, a 4.6 at the NFL Combine, even a 4.7. These linebackers have to run a 4.7. And the thing is my system's going to time identical to the NFL Combine system. I got a lot of people that come in, Jared, I run a 4.7. No. Had a kid the other day said, guaranteed he ran a 4.9, 4.8. I said, no way. Well, guess what? Ran a 5.1. I'm right. I am right almost all the time, except for probably these two over here. But, you know, people come in, Jared, you're right. Jared, you're right. Jared, you're right. You know why I'm right? It's because over time, I've had the experience to be right. I'm not just born up out of the womb knowing that I'm right. I spent since the time I was 12 years old trying to study this and trying to figure out how to actually improve people. Well, you improve people by training them and training them in the right manner. You got to increase various strengths at the same time. Work on your rate of force, work on your absolute strength, work on different components, but test. The only way you're going to know if what you're doing is right is if you test. We test with a complete laser 40-yard dash system. That way I don't have to, that kid that ran a 5.18 and he ran a 5.26 and a 5.29 last month. Ran a 5.18 yesterday and a 5.20. Still improvement, you know, it's maybe not the full 10th of a second that I wanted, but you know, 5.26 is his best to a 5.18. So his 5.20, although it's not a, I let him run 2 or 3 40-yard dashes, and I take the two best ones, and I write them down in the back of their folder so I don't want to beat their average. I want to beat their best. And so even though his 5.20, he ran a 5.18 and a 5.20, that 5.20 was still faster than his 5.26 last month. So his worst time yesterday after practice was still better than his best time prior to that. But, geez, he didn't write his vertical down. He jumped a 32-inch vertical. Last month, he was at a 30.6. And so I don't know if this guy didn't write it down. He jumped a 30 last month. Did not, excuse me, did not write it down. I'll get with them today, make sure we get the numbers in the folder. But this kid right here, well, the other kid squatted the day before. I told him not to do anything. Okay. And these two kids I know have been pushing and working their balls off to try to improve these numbers. This kid right here works his balls off too, but he's a wrestler. He's one of the top wrestlers in the country, top wrestler in the state. You could look at it and tell he bust his balls trying to train, trying to get better. And you can look at it, he's been conditioning, he's trying to get ready for the wrestling season. And I said, you're not going to do good. I said, because usually when you over condition, once you start doing that, your numbers will go backwards. So yesterday he ran a 5.26 and a 5.14 instead of his 5.20, 5.02 and a 5.05. So he dropped a 10th of a second. Not bad. Still coming, still going through all that stuff, but he's not improving. Maybe fell off a 10th of a second. You know, usually with people in the season, 0.2 of a second is what they'll fall off. But sometimes it's just best if you can come during the season so that you don't go so far backwards, so we don't have to spend 2 months getting back to where you were, because usually we're still going to average the 10th of a second. Even if you ran a 5 flat, you come out of season, you come in running a 5.2. All right, so at the end of that month, we're in a 5.2. Next month, 5.1, 5 flat, hopefully a 4.9, hopefully a 4.8, maybe another 4.8, and hopefully we touch a 4.7. It just depends on, because sometimes with athletes playing multiple sports, once they get to high school, it's very, very difficult to improve their times. My best improvers are single sport, like these football players will come out of season, have nothing to do, let me train them December, January, February, March, April. We start getting into May is when we got spring practice. June can still come in and grind. July, we're starting to crank up. They're starting to crank up for football season. So it gets a little tricky. I had a kid last year through football season. He went from a 4.88 to a 4.92, so not a huge drop for him. I said, man, we could probably get you down to low 4.7 by football. Jared, they want me to run track. And I hate this. Everybody thinks that just running more does not make you faster. Running in general does not make you faster. You may have to practice. Running is a skill. So most of the time, all these results that I'm talking about with our running speed, we don't run in the gym at all. I don't even really show them proper 40-yard dash setup. A lot of my speed results are true speed. They are what they are. no technique involved. Hey, we're not going through mastering the 40-yard dash stance. We don't work on tens. Um, so all the results that you hear me talk about, like in the previous episodes, we don't work on 40-yard dash. We don't work on hand play. They get down, their hand is locked into a box with a laser. The box has got a little laser and it targets their hand. So as soon as their hand flinches, it starts. So if they have their hand like in a track stance hand, or if you put your hand down on the ground like you're playing football with it kind of arched up, if you collapse your hand, if it were to go flat, that laser will start on that hand movement. It's super sensitive. But I need a super sensitive device so that I can see that 526 and a 518. If I was using a stopwatch, I could really mess that up, and I may not have a perfect folder like this 55, 54, 53, 52, 51. Even the guys that I got some guys in the ACC to play football, ACC 4'9", 4'8", 4'7", 4'6", 4'5". So in order for me to show them that's not human error, it's you. And so I don't want to be that guy that has a stopwatch and miss time. Oh, you ran a 4'8", next month you ran a 4'9". I don't know if it's me or if it's them. So if I have something that has no human interaction with it, their hand locks in with the box. Locking in just means that the lasers picked them up. As soon as they flinch that hand, it starts. And so we don't work on with being perfect starting. We don't work on running technique. We don't work on any running BS at all. If you want to go back to listen to BS speed training, you'll see a lot of people want to do fancy drills. Running drills are just like accessory stuff that does not do anything for them because they don't have the horsepower to get around the track. If you want a car to get around the track faster, you have to increase its horsepower. So these kids want to go down the street to these other gyms that want to do running drills, want to do speed and agility. Hey, my parents, I need to get faster. Hey, let's do speed and agility. Well, guess what? The places don't test them, so they don't know if they're getting faster or not. And so, but the parents think they're getting faster because they're seeing them do these drills. And the thing about thinking is you don't know, you think. And a lot of times people out there get portrayed on feelings. Like a lot of stuff we see on TV. They want to say, play it off your feelings. A lot of stuff that's going on, want to base it off your feelings. Well, I don't care about your feelings. All I care about is your results. And so like that girl, Jared, I'm not beating my numbers. You're not intense enough. So what I told her, I said, you need to go over there and you need to make that number happen. If you jumped to 18.8 last time, you need to at least jump a 19.3. You go over there. Sometimes I got to plant seeds. I got to plant numbers in their heads. Hey, Jared, what should I hit? Like this wrestler over here, dramatic improvement. We have gone from a 32-inch vertical to a 38.2-inch vertical. So went from a 32 to a 38-inch vertical. Right? I've not had the opportunity to work with some wrestlers, but these guys, I've got 2 wrestlers in there right now. These guys are good. So appreciate you guys if you ever listen to this podcast stuff. But they'll be like, Jared, what should I hit? 37.1. Ooh, I landed a 37.2 or 37.3, or sometimes may land exact number that I plant in their head. And so, and you want to run a 4.9, you get that number 4.9. Like I told this kid, I said, you need to run a 5.1. If you run a 5.1, your folder is going to show up perfect. 5.5, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, 5.1. You can have a folder that I can show and talk about to people, showing that if you put the effort in, 5.1, then you could see, you could read his body language, his vision in his eyes, go, oh, I can do that. Yes, you can do it if you want to do it. You just don't go run and see what happens. So I told that girl, you're not intense. Look at those guys up there. Look at how hard and grinding. They're trying to kill themselves to break their numbers. And I know a lot of females just kind of are very passive and don't try to attack it. Well, you need to. You need to put a number in your head. That's why we write down the jump, whatever they jumped last time, they will come in this time, we're going to try to beat it. Oh, Jared, I'm not beating my number. That's because you don't want to beat it. Yeah, I do. I said, well, go beat it. And so what happened is I told her, I said, look, the 2 guys that improved, I said, look, y'all go make sure she breaks her number. And she looked at me, I said, you going to break your number? Sometimes you got to change your atmosphere. Sometimes you got to change what's going on around you to make this happen. Once they hit that number, they should continue to improve because their body's already done it. Their body has kind of learned it. Kind of like Let people have their butt come off the bench. You know, so like if we're going to have your butt off the bench and you come to me bench 250, butts off the bench, you get to 275, we're going to go back down and restart. So now that you have plateaus are physical, mental, and technical. Okay, so physically and mentally, you have benched from 250 to 275 with your butt off the bench, or however you want to look at benching on whatever it is. We just have to learn how to move weight. We don't have to be perfect benchers. We don't have to be perfect squatters. All these people worried about these perfect things out there, you'll never be great because you won't never put enough tension on you. Sometimes when you have maximum effort, brief maximum tension, that level of strain shows me weak points, so I know what accessories we need to do in order to continue to be able to bench and squat in order to increase that number. We have to learn how to move weight. We have to learn how to put force into the ground. And so by monitoring and putting these numbers out there, we know what to beat. You know, so the 275, from 250 to 275. So mentally and physically, you have done 275, and it may have been when you brought off the bench. Well, let's go back and start over. So now our technical aspect. Now your butt's on the bench, so now mentally, physically, you have done it with your butt on the bench. So now we're going to go to 300. Your butt may be coming off the bench. So it's kind of like up, down, up, down. So we're trying to let them get away with bad technique, come back, clean it up. That way at 300, once you get 3 plates on a bar, once you get 2 plates on a bar, sometimes that's, they say, a mental barrier. That's just mental weakness. But, you know, by their butt coming up, by them not having perfect technique with that, physically, and for these mentally people, they've done it. Now let's just go clean it up. Let the line go out so far, then reel it back in. Let it go out a little bit further, reel it back in. Just kind of, you can train people like that. If you're worried about they don't have perfect technique. Well, I'm sorry that you're retarded and you don't know any difference. You got to think you got to be perfect all the time. And speaking about being perfect, this guy yesterday, we're deadlifting. It's just me and this other guy. I don't program deadlift unless some athletes are going to be powerlifting. Don't listen. Like, it's kind of like we're supposed to be doing touch and go sumo deadlifts. Well, guess what the guy was doing? Dead start, dead start, dead start. Pick it up. By the time he gets to his knees, lets the bar hit the ground. Boom, picks it up. By the time he gets back to his knees on the way down, just lets it kind of go. So he's not getting a full range of motion under tension. The whole point of doing it touch and go is to keep tension on tissue. Jared, my back hurts. I said, I don't care. I don't care about your back. And just laughs because he knows I don't care. If I'm trying to write and help you with a program, and I'm trying to tell you that we're trying to keep tension on the muscle, I don't give a shit about your feelings. Well, guess what? You feel it in your back because that's what we're working. That's where the tension's constantly at. Yes, if you don't feel deadlift in your back, yeah, you may have something. You're going to feel your spinal erectors. What do you think deadlift is? So I'm trying to plan our program. So we got 1 day is a dead start. Dead start is going to help us work on our rate of force. It's almost like static dynamic. Boom, you're still overcome dynamic. And the other day is just muscular tension. So the dead start days, the weight's heavier, and the constant tension or the touch and go days, the weight's lighter. So 1 day we'll work our conventional because that's what we both pull. That's our heavy days. And we're working our sumo with more tension. It's a little bit safer on your lower back, supposedly, than conventional. So with our sumo, we're going to do a little bit more glute work. And we're still going to get some lower back work. Maybe some adductors can come in there. And so one helps the other. So if you're a good sumo, conventional will help your sumo. If we are conventional, sumo will help our conventional. Except for we take our primary thing that we're good at, which is conventional. That's our heavy day. If your primary thing is sumo, that could be your heavy day. Then volumize your other day. So, but how am I supposed to get this part? And we do the lighter day, like our sumo yesterday was double overhand sumo deadlift. We don't use an alternating grip. That way we're working on our weaknesses, which is our other lift. And we're also working our grip at the same time. So by us being able to do the double overhand, I think we had 297, or we lifted in kilos. That was 185 kilos, 5 sets of 5 on sumo deadlift yesterday. Double overhand. But for the first 2 or 3 sets, he'd pick it up, and on the way down, as soon as he got to his knees, drop it. And I just was sitting there looking and just shaking my head. I was like, why? Why don't you listen? You know that I'm right about 99% of the stuff I do. Well, Jared, how come he's so good? Because he listens to me. How come you're not so good? Because you're not listening. And so, well, I feel that I don't care about your feelings. That's what I tell you. If you're letting your feelings get in the way of your results. That's why yesterday, training effort, I can do the exact same program as someone else. So, like if we were based off your percentages, so if you wanted to do a 4, 6, 8 week percentage based program, and I do it with you, I'm probably going to get better, just like I did that kid. I talked about this in training effort part 1, is that I got better. My bench went up and his bench went down. So he actually lost, his bench max actually went down and mine actually went up. Because we didn't even get, if you heard yesterday, I don't have the book out, I think 85% for 3 sets of 1, that's super easy. My cat could do that with no thought. So, and he would just kind of like, half-ass kind of push through the rep because it's like too easy. He felt like he was wasting his time. You've got to put the effort into what you're doing. So I got two other kids that max the same. So I have them on a routine. I've got them pinned against each other. Let's see who can make your max go up more. And so, and if you want your max to go up more, you have to put maximum effort, maximum intensity into each rep. Just like I talked about when I bench. I'm trying to press each rep. If I got a set of 4, if I got a set of 3, if I got a set of 5, I'm not coasting. I am pushing all effort to try to, I guess I'm thinking more about my nervous system and how the body's kind of wired. And a lot of the other kids are not thinking that. They're just thinking, oh, I just got to get to 5. I'm going to get to the 5 with as much effort per rep as I can. I'm not worried about fatiguing. I'm not worried about not making it to 5. I'm going to get to 5. If I say I got 5, I got 5. And the kids in the gym, Jared, I rarely ever see you miss a rep. That's the first rep I've ever seen you miss, and I've been here for 2 years. I do occasionally miss a rep, but my effort, my intensity is going to be there, and I will go all out. And if I don't make it, I don't make it, but I'm not scared not to make it. And so if I can get them to understand, like we was having when I do my tricep press downs, I get a pump in my triceps. I try to make my triceps fatigue. When I do it, I want to pump. I am trying to feel the muscle. And the guy the other day, I never feel the muscle. How do you feel the muscle? And I was like, holy cow. And I had this girl, she was doing tricep press downs. She was doing her press downs. And I said, they're doing these actions, but they're not thinking about feeling it in their tricep. And to me, I don't understand, because I know what I'm after and I know what I'm going to go for. So I'm trying to look and feel for a specific feeling. Like when I train my forearms, I do a lot more forearm training than you would probably realize. Jared, your forearms huge. Well, it's huge. I do a lot of forearm. I don't have it programmed for the kids. We may do one forearm program for them. Work my forearms right now 3 days a week. Work on grippers, work on the hub, work on the rolling thunder, work on wrist curls, work on behind the back wrist curls, work on wrist roller. Do a lot of strength exercises. I do 1 to 2 strength exercises. Then I do 1 to 2 exercises of my forearms to try to blow my forearms up as much as possible. And I was trying to tell the kid, when we're trying to feel the muscle, I said, I had a thought process when I was a kid, probably 11. I started working out when I was 12. So 12 to 13, kind of when your body's starting to change anyway. The first time I ever looked in the mirror, I flexed my arm, I saw my tricep. And so I would go downstairs, I would get a pump in the muscle. And my thought process on that was that if I pump it up enough, so I go down there, pump it up, ooh, it looks bigger. Next day it's down. So if I continue to go pump it up, goes down, pump it up, eventually it's going to stick. That size of that pump will stick. Then you pump it up again, boom. So it's like a ratcheting system. So that's how I thought as a young kid, is if I can pump up this muscle, eventually it sticks. So if I take spaghetti against the wall and I'll throw it, and I throw it, and eventually it's going to stick. So once I got that pump, muscle kind of stuck right there, and then once it got to that level, keep training, keep pushing, trying to keep pushing it. And that's what I did. And I try to tell, like when I do my abs, for my cable abs, I try to destroy muscle. I try to make sure my abs are feeling it. And I try to make sure, like when I do lat pull downs, I'm trying to make sure that I feel it in my lats. I know what muscles I'm working, so I'm going to try to feel it there. I'm not just going to go like these kids do. Most of them will just go, oh, I did my tricep press down. So I'm like, how did you do that so quick? Even for my press downs, I'm taking a minute and a half to 2 minutes between sets. And sometimes those kids are done with that. They're just kind of, oh, I did my press down, so I should get better. No, you didn't put the effort into your triceps that you needed to in order to improve your process like you want to. Jared, my bench is not moving. That's because you've been doing the same damn thing on press downs a year later. And so I don't really program stuff with people's press downs. And some people that once they have been there, sometimes you got to earn the right for me to care about going much more out of my way to you. Because sometimes I go out of my way for a lot of these kids and they just kind of skip it or don't do it. So once I kind of can pinpoint, like I know these guys over here, they hate doing the stuff that I give them, but they keep doing it because they know they'll get better with it. And so it's not fun. It's not fun, but it works. I had one of them say that it's not fun, Jared, but it works. A lot of stuff's not supposed to be fun. It can be boring and it can be downright dreadful. Like, Jared, are you trying to break my back? Or what the hell is? We're not there to exercise. We're there to train. We're there to push, and we're there to change your body. Your body's lazy. I said this earlier. It don't want to change. Well, sometimes if it don't want to change, you have to make it change. Like that girl, I told those two guys to go make sure she breaks a record. They created atmosphere. Boom, she came back. She was smiling. She was happy. She broke her record. Sometimes you have to change the atmosphere, change your environment. And if you're struggling on your press downs, if you're struggling on triceps, if you get the bar halfway off your chest and you can't lock it out, maybe you need to think about differently working your triceps. So maybe we will deadlift. Me and this guy, we did deadlift, then we'll go work on 45 hyper to get more volume as far as specific targeted lower back work. So the biggest thing is you can't let your feelings get in the way. This guy did his last set or two on sumo deadlifts, touch and go like he was supposed to. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Well, the only bad part was your thought process in the beginning of it. So if you want to train, you've got to change. When you're in the gym, training is teaching the body how to do specific things. And if you want this, you implant a number in your head and you go get it. Just like, hey, we can talk shit to each other on the tendo unit when we're over there squatting. Watch this, Jerry. This is going to be a 6'3". Watch this. This is going to be a 6'7". No, hell no. This is going to be a 7'1". Hey, and so you put those numbers in your head and you start chasing them, they'll start happening. Almost probably like that hypertrophy thing when I blew it up eventually. You chase it, it's going to get there. But then I chased, I got my 5'2". Next month, Jared, I'm getting a 5'1". Oh, hell no, I'm going to get a 5 flat. And you come in the gym and you grind, and you know if you were squatting the right way with a tendo unit, that's going to happen. I'm interested to see what happens to some of the baseball players today that come in. I've had, for the first time, a group of baseball players that actually come in and grind. And baseball players generally are freaking lazy. But I do have a good group of kids right now that come in and they actually grind. Their numbers actually improve. One of them, in fact, a baseball player yesterday jumped a 40-inch vertical. That's sick. I've got a first time a group of baseball players, that baseball player over here that didn't want to test yesterday, ran a 5'3" he started off at a 5'9". He got a 5'3" yesterday. He works. For the first time, a lot of times throughout the year, I've got this other places around me. They have baseball facilities. They think they can do the same trainings that I do. They just go do fancy fluff, one-legged, sit there. I don't know what kind of stupid exercise they're doing, but it makes the athletes feel better. Oh, it's baseball specific. You know what specific to baseball is? Freaking baseball. There's no such thing, baseball specific exercise. Well, I told a kid yesterday, just like if you were to listen to a training effort, you have to push up some strength levels. Then your accessory can be more specific to rotational if you need that toward that sport. But the best thing you should do is break down the biomechanics, see what muscles are involved, and train the damn muscles. Your sport's going to come from your sport and you practice in your sport. Not this fancy, fluff, specific bull crap that we hear all the time. The muscles don't know sport. They just know action. And so parents and all these other people want to believe, oh, sport specific. Well, guess what? The only thing specific to sport is sport itself. You go to the gym, you push up your strength, and you train the muscles that you use in the sport, but they don't have to be Just like squatting is specific to sprinting, but it does nothing look, it don't even look like sprinting. So, let's do this fancy baseball arm exercise with this cable thing. Okay, yeah. Well, they're not testing for results. They're doing it to make the kids feel good. Hey, this looks like we would use it. Oh, this makes sense how this could work to baseball. But then they're not testing it for it. That's what pisses me off. These people want to go out there and, hey, this is specific to baseball. Look how much sport specific stuff you do in the weight room for football. Why does baseball have to be specific and football don't? What about these wrestlers? All the wrestlers need to be strong relative to their body weight and have good grip strength. Very simple. So it's frustrating to hear, and that's why baseball people, in my opinion, most of them are extremely soft, very soft, no freaking grit. But these guys I've got in the gym right now, they actually push, they actually grind, they actually want to get better. And so, I mean, the people out down the other street, whatever around, they think they want to get better. Oh, I have to do that. Ooh. Oh, I have to diet to lose weight. Oh, no, they just want that freaking pill, that little magic. No, if you do this, little Johnny, you'll get a lot better. Thanks for lying to the kid and not knowing what the hell you're doing. So, anyway, I hope we got some more training effort stuff out of the way. Go push, put a number in your head, and chase the number. You know, if someone tells you to do touch and go, touch and go. Don't pick it up and damn drop it. How's that helping? You're not keeping the tension of the muscle. In order to create strength, you have to create tension. With no tension, there's no strength. And with no strength, there's no improvement. And with no improvement, might as well be home sleeping. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening. Follow me or email me for questions. You can maybe Instagram question me. Whatever. It's not pretty much going to get answered through Instagram for a while. But for those of you out there, Japan, the Philippines, Turkey, United Kingdom, Greece, all these countries, Germany, Sweden, Canada, like, share, and promote the word of the Explosive Strength Podcast. I'd appreciate it. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.